I started blogging 5 years ago, there were like just a handful of mom bloggers. It was not really even a career per se back then. However, it was something which was prevalent abroad. Like there were a lot of established mommy bloggers, and there was that moving towards the trend. So when I started off, it was not really a career, but more so a hobby for me. But I just saw it growing pretty quickly, and over the last 2 3 years, like there is this running joke that every other mother is a mommy blogger now. So it's become like a whole industry. Forget just a career for an individual. And it's really taken off then. So it's been a gradual process, and it's one that has, I think, got good scope to grow even further. There is space, for how many ever people would like to join. Like it's booming as an industry.
Hi everyone. Welcome to Meet the Mom. We're here with Ananta today. She has been associated with us for a while now, and it's so good to have you with us, Ananta.
Hi Neha, it's my pleasure to be able to join you today.
Ananta is a very popular mother blogger, and her page is called Bump and Baby. And I think I'll let her introduce herself and tell us a little more about what she does.
Sure. So Neha, as you know, I've been blogging since the past 5 years now. I actually started my blog, when I got pregnant with my second child, and I had a 1 year old that time, hence Bump and Baby. That's how the name came about. I just felt that I had all this information from my first pregnancy, and I had read up so much information. I thought it would be great to kind of share this with other moms. Motherhood kind of unites all of us, and I thought a good platform wherein I can connect with other mothers, share my learnings with them, and also kind of understand their journey. That's how the whole thing came about. It's been 5 years hence, and I think we've built a good community of sorts, and we are growing every day, which is lovely.
That's true, actually. I think the sense of community amongst mothers is so strong, and that's exactly what you've done with your followers and the people you're associated with. And I think it's a nice group. We all get together, share information, and help each other out, actually.
Yeah, yeah, and now more than ever, moms want to kind of connect, and it's sort of like support also. When you can kind of talk to each other, get advice, vent a little. So
I couldn't have agreed more because these are really difficult times. We're all isolated in our homes, and having this sense of, this friendship with other mothers and this place where you can go and connect with everybody, and basically not feel alone in it. So that really
yeah, because we are all
gives us
going through, individual struggles, and it's nice to also get a reality check and, kind of know that you're not alone, and then there are other people who are facing, similar situations. It creates a sort of support structure and a feel good, So I think that's one of the benefits of social media as well. Like there are two sides to the story, but you have the opportunity of picking up on the good side of bettering yourself.
That's so true. In fact, speaking of which, I think blogging has now become so popular, even in India. What has your journey been like, and what actually led you to blogging and become influencer? And now it's something that we know of. I think when you started out,
Yeah,
it wasn't a conventional career
correct,
choice.
correct.
So was it something that you intended to do, or did you grow up with a different dream and you were pursuing something else and you quit that to get
Yeah,
into this field?
you couldn't be more bang on. I am actually a graphic designer by profession, and I just really took up blogging as a hobby. Young moms are the busiest people on earth. Leave aside CEOs and CFOs and whoever. There's no one as busy as a young mom who doesn't get sleep and nothing. So I really started it off as a hobby. And you're very right that when I started blogging 5 years ago, there were like just a handful of mom bloggers. It was not really even a career per se back then. However, it was
Yeah.
something which was prevalent abroad. Like there were a lot of established mommy bloggers, and there was that moving towards the trend. So when I
Yes.
started off, it was not really a career, but more so a hobby for me. But I just saw it growing pretty quickly, and over the last 2 3 years, like there is this running joke that every other mother is a mommy blogger now. So it's become like a whole industry. Forget just a career for an individual, and it's really taken off then. So it's been a gradual process, and it's one that has, I think, got good scope to grow even further. There is space, for how many ever people would like to join. Like it's booming as an industry.
That's true. Actually, the influencer industry is supposed to grow, and how in now even in India. But I don't know with the current ban and all of that where we are. But I'm sure. I mean, I don't know. It's scary, but I think we're going to get past it. And there is a lot of scope in this, and we see so many new people coming up with such creative ideas.
Yeah,
And really, it's amazing. Even the kind of work that mother bloggers are doing,
right,
and using this platform to talk about parenting and conventional and unconventional parenting
absolutely.
techniques, which is so beautiful to see that there is this way that you can, like, you're okay if you're doing something differently, then somebody out there is talking about it.
Like there is space for everyone. What I think, blogging has got to the forefront, especially for mothers, is that every mother is different, everyone has their own style. It's not okay to shame someone for following a particular path in parenting, and it's motherhood is more about supporting mothers and not really judging or compartmentalizing them. And I think it's been good because India as a community has come from a place where everyone, at least moms were highly judged. And, even simple things like breastfeeding, that moms were given a hard time for a lot of decisions that they made.
Yeah.
So this is just really like encourage mothers to feel good about themselves, and, just to know that it's their freedom, they have the choice, they are doing, they are the primary givers, so caregivers, so they should have the opportunity to take it up how they feel right. And I don't think anyone really thrives with much judgment. So I think this is good, with everyone being able to voice their opinion.
Yeah, I think it's a step in the right direction, because rightly so, mothers have always been judged, and mom shaming, I think, is the favorite hobby. At least it's a sport in India.
Correct.
So
Right, that's
this
exactly,
is
you put it right. That's exactly how it is.
So yeah, and speaking of this, I think moving on from mom judgments, I think it's time we leave all of
Yeah,
that behind. I think it's nice with the new world. I think things are changing rapidly.
absolutely.
How has your experience been blogging? I think you've also moved from different topics, and I've seen you also do a lot of cooking content. What is your favorite type of content? I have personally enjoyed cooking, so I think that's what's coming to the forefront. But I have loved your recipes, the ones that you've been sharing
Yeah,
through the lockdown. I have tried some myself, especially the healthy ones.
great.
So tell me more about the kind of content you enjoy creating, and which is your favorite, and
Sure.
what is your go-to?
Sure. So, Neha, like you said, that my blog has also seen a lot of variation of late, and I think I would pin that on my journey of motherhood. When you're a young mother, or you're pregnant, your journey and what you share and your feelings are very different as to when your kids grow into toddlers and then preteens and things like that. So my blog has also taken that journey of concentrating on early motherhood and pregnancy to now as my boys are growing older. So the cooking, yeah, I was always fond of cooking and I always enjoyed getting into the kitchen. But I think all of us have had a bit of a quarantine cooking phase where at some point we've been shoved into the kitchen, by will or not, and started experimenting. So it's really during the lockdown. Also because of the lockdown and not being able to create the content that I was otherwise, whether it be brand associations or events that I was hosting. So a lot of that came to a standstill, and I realized that content still needs to be shared and created. So one of the very natural progressions was for me to create recipes and talk about how you can get kids to eat healthy and creating like a wholesome environment at home that encourages everyone to eat well, and that kind of took off nicely for me. So one of the primary reasons I think is every mom, like whether she likes to cook or not, she does want to feed her family good, healthy, nutritious food. So that's where the whole idea came from, for creating meals not just for babies, but like meals for the entire family that can be enjoyed, that is not fussy. Even a novice could get into the kitchen and make. So that's how I really got into it, and it's done
And
well.
yeah, I really think that you rightly said that whether or not you're the best cook, but every mother certainly wants to feed her family well and she wants her kids to eat right,
Correct.
which is quite a challenge
Yeah.
in today's age of time. But I also feel that people are a lot more informed. They definitely want to eat right stuff. They also want to inculcate those habits in their children. So
Yeah.
parenting has completely, changed. And I can't imagine what, as a mother blogger, what your reference would be, because when we were growing up, parenting was completely different. If you remember how we were raised, it was a completely different time. Exposure was a lot less. Our children are now homeschooling. Everything is a click away, and there is hardly any. I mean, we try, but still, parental control is. I don't know if it's an eyewash,
Right.
or they definitely have a lot more access than we
Sure.
would like them to.
Sure. These are the modern day challenges, and we don't really have so much of reference from the past that, we can relate
Have.
to. So we do have to kind of think on our feet and take it as it comes and move forward. Neha, but I think one thing that doesn't change, whether we were kids or our parents were kids or now that we are raising kids, is the importance of discipline. Like the minute you have a good discipline at home, it creates an ease of environment, because you know what you are trying to establish. Your children, tune into what you're trying to establish, and so do other family members and staff at home realize that this is the method, this is how we are going to do things. It's not okay to do this in the morning and that in the evening. There's a set pattern to things. So I think discipline is key, when and it also creates consistency, right? We can either be, say intensity. I don't think it works with kids, because if you're going to try to be very firm with them, it's not going to take off well, and the next day be very lenient.
Right,
So
right.
just trying to create a consistent environment, explaining to your kids, talking about it. I think those are some of the fine points, that, when you are not feeling motivated, or you are feeling that you really don't know how to cope with it, approach the problem and do it, the minute you introduce discipline, it sees you through, the hard times.
I think very rightly so. Especially now more than ever, we need this discipline because with the lockdown, we don't have any routines. They don't have schools. They don't have conventional activities that they used to.
Right.
So establishing a routine or establishing some sort of discipline at home can act, because I really worry about it. I have a 12-year-old,
Sure.
and I worry so much when I feel that they're losing that sense of routine. They're
Right.
not used to waking up
Correct.
early, get ready, like the early life you're
Sure.
supposed to live, what we are used to, right?
Yeah.
That you learn all these skills. You learn that you need to wake up in the morning, you need to get ready, you need to get out and get to things. So there is that ease in the day when they're working. Right now, anyway, they have holidays and they're really making the most of them. But otherwise, that is actually something that really worries parents, that with this lockdown, they are losing that sense of routine. And I think establishing, like, this is a great tip. I would certainly borrow from it,
Yeah.
that establish a routine.
Neha, one more thing that I can add out here, if it helps parents, is that, depending on the age of your child, to have a few non-negotiables. So
Yeah,
that, like sort of like going down to play and exercising for an hour can be a non-negotiable.
yeah,
Getting up on time can be a non-negotiable. 1 hour of reading,
agree.
so the minute, even as a parent, you're like, okay, at least, they did their exercise, at least they studied for an hour. The minute you
Yeah,
cover 3 4 important things, then you're like, okay, it's a holiday, let them laze around for late, it's fine. So I
yeah,
think having 3 4
yeah,
non-negotiables, and then your kids are like, okay, mom is particular about this, but at least some other things, we have a leeway, and you
yeah.
also have the independence to make some decisions. I think it's a balance that would work with kids.
Sense of having like
Little
the
freedom.
the fake sense of having
Yeah.
some control over their life.
I think you can relate to it better. The older the kids get, the less say we
Yeah,
have over their life and their
that's true.
routine.
That's I think every stage has its challenge, And every time you feel that, oh my God, when will this phase be over? And then next one then really kicks you in in the gut that now what? But parenting is a beautiful journey, and I think you learn as you go along. And I think you miss the previous phase where the second one, the other one.
Oh my God, yes, you do. Really, I think any parent would say that, even if your kids are three, you miss holding them as a newborn. So there's really no end to,
Absolutely.
those beautiful moments.
Completely agree. And yeah, that's what, and but very beautifully so. Thanks to the lockdown, we're getting to spend so much time together. I think seeing your being with your parents, even as working mothers, to be around all the time is such a pleasure. I don't think we've had this privilege, in the past.
Yeah,
So
in
being
fact, this was such a big problem couple of years ago. Everyone was complaining. Parents were complaining they're not getting time with the kids. Kids were complaining their parents are not spending time, and they were like, "We have work commitments. How will we make it happen?" And
yeah.
I mean, there have been like a lot of issues also because of the lockdown. But I think one problem that has got out of the way is that everyone's had enough time to connect and be with each
That's
other.
that's definitely the bright side. Having to, getting to spend that much time with family and being together, quality time. I think we really come out winners in that sense. We've actually got so much time together.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, a lot of people have suffered a
yeah,
lot during this time,
absolutely.
but even then, there are some lessons
Yeah,
out of it,
yeah.
and we've
I
actually
I
seen
think
some
the
good time.
only healthy way to kind of accept any situation and move on is to try to look at the positive, bright side. I think which we are
True,
all trying
true.
our best to do.
We're
Also
trying.
just being with our kids, we also like tune into so many finer details that we miss out just because we are not fully present in the moment or we are so busy. Like small things about their character or their choices. So I just think
Yeah.
it's given an opportunity to get in tune with each other, which we didn't realize the importance of being in tune with each other's feelings.
Absolutely. I don't think anyone could have said it better that we have really gotten to know each other during this phase. I have gotten to know myself so much more. I know that I know about my fears, because this is the time it really makes you reevaluate everything that's going on because life has become pretty unpredictable. And yeah, but this has really been really nice to spend that kind of time and get to know your child, especially so
Yeah.
closely.
No, no, and it is
And,
important, like sometimes we just think, okay, I'm going to deal with it, like by being a disciplinarian and all. Sometimes it's just a little bit of love that kind of solves so many problems at home.
That's true. That's true. I think that every day we got so caught up in we get so caught up in routine, and we're always rushing in the morning that
Absolutely.
it's school time or I have to go to work, and now we get to sit together, have a glass of she's having a milk, I'm having my coffee.
Correct.
So those rituals, I think they'll be like beautiful takeaways from the lockdown.
Absolutely, absolutely. We are starting to enjoy our pace of thoughts and just kind of accepting things for the way they are moving instead of just on the go and pushing things all the time. So I think that's been nice.
Totally. So, Ananta, coming back to blogging and your journey in this field,
Sure.
just tell me, how do you think? What do you where do you see yourself in the next, say, 5 years? Do you think you'll continue to blog, or do you think you'll move to something else, or maybe there's some another portal that you would want to explore, like Instagram?
Sure.
And what are your plans?
Neha, with the social media and it moves so fast that sometimes it's hard to predict. No one thought that Instagram will take over Facebook and, TikTok will have a higher user database in India than Instagram. And these things move very fast. So consumer behavior with regards to, new platforms is really hard to determine. But I do think that Instagram has got it right in terms of offering content the way people want to consume content. It's also a very friendly platform for creating user generated content. So they're on the top of the game, whether it's the introduction of stories, whether it
Correct.
is being head first and offering reels the minute TikTok got banned in India. So they have been
Absolutely.
ahead of their game, and people are spending so much time on Instagram that I feel like when like T10 20 started the cricket match, I think a lot of people moved to that platform, and then like having cricket which was spread over 5 days, and those day and night matches got boring. So I think Instagram is sort of doing that for content as well, wherein you want quick content. You want to see content for
Yeah,
15 seconds that can really entertain you.
yeah,
Try to get more creators on their platforms. So that sounds interesting. With regards to
yeah,
how I feel it will go, I also think that now, like any business or brand cannot ignore social media anymore. It is sort of the base now for a lot of platforms to brands to sell. Everyone, especially in India, so many homegrown brands are exclusively selling on Instagram, and via
yes,
social media. And obviously there have been collaborations and a lot of blogger associations. I also see that maybe in some ways, because bloggers are creative and creating unique content, that there might be more associations in terms of long-term partnerships as opposed to right now where it is individual partnerships and one-time campaigns. I think I think there will be a lot of marriage on that front between bloggers and businesses. So that's where I see it going.
I agree. I think that definitely also feels more authentic. I think it's a great tip for a lot of people who might be watching and may be interested in this industry or this career altogether. That maybe Pinterest is coming up, to watch out for Pinterest. And again, the kind of content that is required on Instagram, definitely it's so fast paced, it's insane how you're supposed to entertain and give out all the information as a brand
Yes,
for us within those 15 seconds
correct.
is challenging and like super fun.
Yeah.
I think to work in this field, it is really, really, it's ever changing, and you have to keep reinventing.
Yeah, it is basically you have to keep pushing yourself creatively to be on top of the game. You have to, it's not that you have a set pattern and it's working and you continue. I think that way of doing business has, I mean, it's not over, but it is slowing down. And I think anyone who wants to keep up has to continuously reevaluate their options and reinvent their story.
True. True. I think templating is completely out of the window. Nobody wants to watch the same thing again. That's not happening anymore. And yes, agree that I think businesses cannot ignore social media. A lot of if they want to stay relevant, they have to take on social media. They have to take on collaborations and tie-ups. And I really like what you said about having long-term
Yes,
relationships because, as you would know, we've always worked that way, and you it also feels more authentic. It also feels that you truly believe in something.
absolutely.
That's when you're associated. If you're just doing it one time, then it doesn't feel as authentic, and maybe you don't have that much faith in what you're doing.
Yeah.
So definitely long-term
I think
relationships are
that is
the
what Merlin first and you guys have done is that you all associate with a few bloggers who you feel can relate to your product and also have like the right audiences and understand the value of what you are offering and do long term collaborations. I mean, I have personally used a lot of your products under the umbrella, and not just used it once, but obviously if it's a kids product or you are using it regularly over the like 2-3 years at least, and they've really stood the test for quality, for the design, and also for kids to have something playful. At the end of it, if you're marketing something for a child, if it's not going to be playful and interesting, it's really not going to take off. So I think that's where kudos to you guys for trying to figure out all these different elements and offering it to the audience.
Yeah, so absolutely. I think I have also had the pleasure of working with some people who've had so many questions, including you, about what we're putting in the product and what material you're using. Is it toxic? Is it non-toxic? So it's wonderful that mothers care and they don't want to associate with something that is not like genuine and
Correct.
which may be harmful.
Correct.
If I'm not going to give it to my child, I'm not going to promote it for any other child. That's
Absolutely.
exactly the kind of people we have always liked to associate ourselves with. And luckily, we have a we're a very good family of bloggers, influencers who associate with us. So many of them have just come forward and told us, "Hey, I'm using your product and I love it." So it's beautiful to have that people are so kind and they really come forward and
Yeah.
let us know that.
I think an
But enough.
endorsement like this from someone who's bought one of the product from a customer, when it's a genuine endorsement, I think there is no greater success than that, because that's when you've got a quality product at hand. So
Absolutely. I think that also is it's really encouraging, and also you it reaffirms your faith in what
correct,
you're doing.
correct, absolutely.
Okay, I'm actually losing my chain as to where we were. Uh, all right, back to it.
Yeah.
Um,
Neha,
so
I
we
also thought, like, I'll just quickly pitch in there that, for even, just as a suggestion for, a lot of moms who would like to enter the blogging field. And, it's something people do consider from time to time when they do have some extra time and it's so convenient you can work from home. And it's a question I get asked a lot. So just sharing what, my views on it is that for anyone, even whether you're a business, you're a brand, or you are an individual who wants to enter as a blogger, it is a crowded space, but I think where you can stand out is sort of first creating your plan instead of diving in head first. So when you have your USP, you know what kind of content that you are creating that will help you stand out, from the noise. Also, restricting yourself to a few key things that you would like to feature. Today, if you are a food blogger, you would want to limit yourself to things that relate to food bloggers. You cannot also talk about technology. You cannot also talk about so many other different fields. So I think the minute we are able to structure our blog, we have a unique style, and we invest, in learning either photography or good editing apps. Few of those pointers can get taken in, also kind of starting, even because social media is so easy to reach out to everyone. Just, if you are talking to other people in your field, other bloggers or brands, people are really here to help each other if they like your content and kind of, give you a hand to take a step up. So I think these are few of the things that can really help someone new in the space to get started.
That's actually a really good tip from you for anybody who's getting into this field. And I'm sure, I mean, who would have thought that we'd have schools teaching blogging?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely, so true.
And that is such a great way ahead. I think maybe I'll see you sometime teaching in one of the schools and but yeah, that's a good tip. I think I'm sure it'll be very helpful that being authentic, basically, do what you will and do what you're good at, and also develop some skills, learn some skills that will come in handy. I think this is the first time that I learned that you're a graphic designer. I had no clue that actually you started out as a graphic designer
I
first,
did, I did.
and that must.
So, I actually, I was a graphic designer, but when I got pregnant with my kids, and I was actually, a little under the weather, how it is during pregnancy, and the thing is, when you are a graphic designer, it's a full time job, but there's also a lot of running around, and I just felt I couldn't manage it, so I didn't want to, kind of restrict myself and be like, oh, now I'm a mother and I have to take care of kids. That means my career is over. I didn't want to do that because a lot of mothers feel, the minute they have a child, that they don't have the option to work. Especially like I live in a nuclear family, so I really don't have anyone, to do the baby
Yeah,
care while I'm away. So this
yeah,
one of the reasons I started blogging was, like I felt the need to be able to do something that is apart from being a mother and like looking after the house and the family. So that's so I think even now we are so lucky that there's so many opportunities of working from home, working part-time. So every time it's not just about, the income and how much you're earning and your salary. Sometimes it's about your personal satisfaction, that you're able to do something, remove time for yourself. And some things take long. Like when I started blogging, like it was not really a commercial space. I think I blogged for like almost a year before I got my first campaign. So it's okay. I think sometimes you give yourself that time and allow yourself to grow before you wait for that paycheck. So it's everyone has their own journey. I think so. That's really
I completely agree with you when you say that as a mother, you need a little more than just being that mother. You want that satisfaction for yourself. And just because you have a child, that doesn't mean that your career is over or you can't do something creative or constructive with your time. And this second innings for a lot of women is quite difficult. I think some have the courage to step up and to actually take the challenge on with their, like you don't have any help at home. There may be many mothers who don't have the option, and even when they don't have any, if they're living in a nuclear setup, even then it becomes very challenging to take care of your child and the career. I think it's harder on women. It really affects them. But yes, even then, you do need to be your own person. Uh, this lockdown has definitely taught us how to work from home. So I'm sure it must have opened up so many avenues for so many women because it's not hard anymore. You can definitely do it. You can do
What is really heartwarming, Neha, is that so many times there are women who are so good at a few things, but they've not really known how to get out there and promote themselves and get work. But like they've been at it, like even things like some ladies who've been really good cooks their whole life, they've cooked for like 30 years without any opportunity, and now in the lockdown there've been so many home kitchens that have sprung up all over, and people are supplying food. They've created, so they might have spent their whole life, but you never know when an opportunity strikes. So I think we need to, as women, know that believe in yourself, it will happen. It's not a
yes,
lost
yes. I
cause.
think
Yeah.
yeah, you need to stay at it. For anyone, not just women. I think for anyone who's trying to do something or
Correct.
accomplish something,
Correct.
you should not get bogged down by failures or by slow starts.
Yeah.
Just be consistent. You should be at it, and I think it just comes around, or something comes around. You never know when when that opportunity, like you said, the home kitchens. It's so wonderful. So many women are doing this now, and there are so many people who are working who don't have the time to for themselves, and these kitchens are supplying to them.
It's
It
amazing.
works so perfectly.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and
Anyone,
it's
to be very honest, who has embarked on the career journey, myself included, there have been times, when I have questioned myself whether, am I creating sufficient impact as a blogger? Is it worth
right.
my time? Is it something that is sustainable? What if Instagram shuts down tomorrow? What am I going to do with my time? So these are things that we've
Yeah,
always wondered about and all. But I think at the end of the day, if you judge yourself on the last 1 month that has been difficult, you'll never get an honest answer.
I
You have to
I
see when you started, you wanted to reach a particular place and you have made the progress. So I think when we judge each other, sometimes we are very harsh on ourselves. And if we allow ourselves to see, maybe not in the 1 month, but maybe in the past year or 2 years or 5 years, we have at the end of it done some work. We've got to somewhere.
I couldn't have agreed more. That's so true that we are actually our worst critics, and we are the harshest on ourselves. But even then, it's so true that you have to you have those days where you feel that this is not worth it, and this is not happening, and this is not moving, and I'm spending this much time, and
Is it
maybe it's
worth
not
my
good.
effort? Yeah,
Yeah, we all have those. I mean, I would like to believe that it's not just us. Many people have
of
those days
course,
where they feel like completely
of
lost.
course.
But but it's better to have tried and lost than never have
Yeah,
tried at all.
yeah, and even if
So
you lose, for say at the end of it, but there have been those
yeah,
periods of success where you have contributed, and at
true,
the end of it, you can never put a price on learning, So when you've done something,
absolutely,
you have learned, at the end of it, you've not just sat on watched television, you've tried to learn and
yeah,
take yourself further. So I think what we always never seem to assess, we always see the value of our paycheck, but we never see what we have learned. And I think when you understand your true value, that I think that will help you to not feel so bogged down.
yes, yes, you cannot put a number on it. And I do feel that failure teaches you so much more than success.
Yeah,
Success can fog your vision for a while, but failure truly puts you in your place and really makes you
yeah,
try harder and strive harder and never to take these things for granted.
correct.
So on, I think on that note, Ananta, thank you so much. It's always such a pleasure, and I'm hoping that this is not just one of our blogs.
Yeah, one
What
of
am
our
I
podcasts. Yeah,
one of our podcasts,
yeah.
but we get many more together, and I'm really looking forward to you. You were telling me earlier that this is your first,
Yeah,
so
Neha, again, another challenge as a mother. I have really had to bribe my kids. I've given them a chocolate each just not to bang on my door. I was like, please give me half an hour. It's important. Can you all just play by yourselves and take this chocolate now only? So that's, one of the reasons I've not been able to do it. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, maybe some other day when I'm feeling up for it. But we've been back and forth to kind of do something
yeah,
together for a while, and my association with you has genuinely been one of the more pleasurable ones. And you always have
absolutely,
those few collaborations and those few people in your workspace that it's always nice whenever you connect, whether it's every month or once in 6 months or whenever it happens. And I think we kind of have that with each other.
true,
So
true.
hopefully we will try to create more content together and hope to make a little
So
bit of impact in the space.
Absolutely. I think it is always such a pleasure connecting with you. I think the feeling is mutual. And I remember when I dropped in, I was in Bombay. I think I called you and I said, let's catch up. And that didn't happen because I think we had long schedules of shoot. But definitely, hopefully, when things get better and we get to visit, or you come down to Delhi, we'll meet up and do this again
Delhi
face
and
to face.
Mumbai are two cities that are so accessible, and at some point in your life, you will visit Mumbai or you will visit Delhi. So I think the chances for us
Hopefully,
catching up are pretty good. So let's hope
very
it
good.
happens.
Hopefully, we get to visit each other soon,
Yeah.
and hopefully, we get to travel soon.
Yeah,
That's
I know.
something
My
that
God, yeah. Even just going to a coffee shop is on my to-do list now.
yeah, like a luxury.
Yeah.
I was on a call with a friend of mine today,
Yeah.
and she just recently moved. She's in Russia now. So she video called me, and she's in the mall. I was like, "Oh my
Oh
God,
God.
just show me,
Yeah.
show me around." It looks like. So yeah,
Correct.
little pressure.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we'll get to get back to
Absolutely.
these soon.
Absolutely. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much, Neha, for having me and inviting me. And it's really been nice to interact also with a fellow mom and mompreneur, and look forward to more of these sessions.
Absolutely, I think we will definitely catch up very soon.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Thank
Neha.
you for speaking to our
Thank
listeners.
you. Bye.
Thank you, Nanda. Bye bye.